As my first guest, I have the honor of introducing you to a true luminary in the field of microbiology in academia. He has a string of impressive degrees that include the PhD, MD, and DSc. Over the last 54 years, he's been traveling all over Tamil Nadu, being the living version of Indiana Jones. He's written 365 research papers, which is one research paper every day of the year. He's also written 22 books and has funded about 60 researches totaling up to 35 crores. Professor Thyagarajan has created global impact by partnering with 26 scientists all over the world. He's also the inventor of the patent drug for hepatitis B, Virohep. His administrative roles include Vice Chancellor of Madras University and Pro-Chancellor of Sri Ramachandra Institute of Technology. Right now, he is a distinguished professor, Ed Advisor at Vellore Institute of Technology. Sir, you're such a legend, and I'm in honor of your journey. It's such an honor to be interviewing you today.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
So, as my first question, what was your happiest memory as a child?
Because it's now 17 years now, so I'm thinking back, what would be the happiest moment? In fact, my younger days of education is the happiest period for me, because arising out of a family which is a first generation learner family, coming up from a village rural ambience where no graduate has been there, and going up the ladder as a graduate in biology, and then a postgraduate, and then the whatever other degrees and others that you have quoted, has been built upon sheer hard work and support from the family system. So that family system is the happiest memory. You will be wondering to see how I was able to go up the ladder. It's all because of my grandmother, my mother's mother, who is an illiterate. She does not know how to write, or is still lived with thumb impression only. She was the one who supported me to study to whatever level I wanted. So that is the happiest memory.
I think this is very nice that you say, because in our generation, I don't think anyone would say their happiest memory is of education or studying. I think most of us in this generation would love to just get out of school and do what they want and stay at home all day and sleep and eat.
I think one important thing that our younger children have to learn is to enjoy their education. It's not for just generating marks and getting some high CGPA, getting some placements in high level institutions or industries. You must enjoy the profession, contribute to the profession, so that you are able to give back what you have been given by the country or the educational institution where you have been a student. So that kind of culture has to be developed, which is still there in our country, but it has to be nurtured to a very long way.
Yeah, so how do you think your childhood has shaped you as a person?
As I told you, I came up from a village near Chengalpet, and that village, name itself still will make you think how small a village it is. It is called as Nedumaram. It still has not a direct bus route after so many years. From there I moved over to the near Mahalippuram. There is one place called Sadras. Now it has become more popular because of Kalpakkam. I came for schooling to this particular Sadras place because there was no school in my native place. I studied there. We had excellent teachers. The teachers that we got, they used to put their life in for us. It is not just only teaching, they also nurtured the value system in them. One example or one experience which I remember always is that when we are during the later part of the day, after we finish the school hours and all that, the teachers will observe what we are actually doing. as one of the teacher was walking by, some of the students were doing this, bambram. Have you heard about bambram?
Yeah, the
top,
twist, yeah.
So they are all playing that. In those days, even that is considered that not a desirable kind of a sport. That kind of a period, I was actually just observing, as an observer only. I was not part of the team. Next day, he remembered all the names of the students and he called us and asked them, why do you spend the time wherein you can do your homework and study? When we explained that it was, we are only observing that, he said, no, this is going to be a habit for you, long hours. So you have to do what is to be done at this particular point of time and then try to cultivate it such a habit. Another very interesting experience I had was in my secondary education, higher education, school education period. So I used to travel by bicycle about 12 kilometers every day from Sadras to Tirukuzhkundram. This place is about 12 kilometers. So we won't be able to travel in the bus. So we have to go double cycling and all that. And then you get tired. So by the time you take your lunch, you little bit doze off. We had a very excellent headmaster at that time who used to walk around the corridor and see how the children are eating. So at that time, it seems I have dozed off on the table. So he came and just trotted up and woke me up and said, no, this is not the time for sleeping, and you'll have to be active, go around the school so that you will get back your energy and you will be able to study. Why I am telling this is, education has not been for just reading alone. It has also inculcated values along with them. How you have to behave, how you have to learn good habits, and how you must judiciously use time, etc. So that is where throughout my life this has happened. I must here record that all this happened because of my teachers. The quality of the teacher shapes the quality of life for all the students. So they're important. Even in my college education, my teachers have been so good. They are not just interested in giving you your education and making you to get a degree. They used to pave the way for their future also. Because I was doing my BSc Zoology in Loyola College. So at that time we had excellent teachers in Loyola College in Zoology. Professor Ananta Krishnan, Professor Murthy, Professor Raghunatha Rao and all that. So I was standing first in all the exams and all that. And I also became the first rank student for that year, 1965. Then they asked, anybody will ask, what are you going to do next? I said, I would like to do a master's in zoology. Then one professor by name Dr. Murthy advised me, no, and in these days there are a lot of zoology postgraduates and all that. Try to go to a newer branch. That was the time when Madras Medical College started the medical microbiology program at the master's level. So he guided me so that I will get into the master's program in medical microbiology. That was a foundation. If I have not done medical microbiology at that time, whatever CV, biodata you have talked about, discoveries, things like that might not have happened. So this is another instance to show how teachers shape your life. They are not just giving you degree.
I do understand. Like even my teachers, they don't just educate; they inculcate a lot of values into your life.
That's right.
When you grew up, what did you want to be? Who was it that you looked up to? Was it your teachers? One of your family members?
See, as a family where not many educated elders were there, the only source through which you get inspiration are the teachers. And then some role models whom you can think of. So when I grew up, And when of course, I definitely wanted to become a teacher. That was one thing, because that passion has got into me because of my own teachers. After I became an assistant professor in the Madras Medical College, we've been wanting to see whether you should stop at teaching alone or you must do something more. At that point of time, we had phenomenal kind of support from international visitors coming into being a premier medical institution, and there are so many opportunities to work on global problems. Hepatitis was one of the major problem at that time. Even now it lingers on like that, but at those times in Tamil you call it as Manjal Kamalai. But people does not know there are different types of these jaundice, and some of them will lead on to liver cancer. People never knew that. But even now, about 50% of the jaundice cases can proceed on to chronic liver disease, cirrhosis of liver, and liver cancer. So for that, I thought, why not we do some research in that area to see whether you can find a remedy out of it. So my supervisor and head of the department at that time was very supportive. He did not, quench my thirst or something like that. He did not come in the way of taking up my inner feeling. He encouraged, and we were able to start the work for hepatitis B. And you must have been hearing now, whenever you go for donating blood, all blood donors are screened for hepatitis B antigen, which is originally called as Australia antigen. This screening system was not there till 1972. When we did a study in Madras Medical College, when we demonstrated that about nearly 4% of the donors who are coming to the blood bank of the Madras Medical College, they were positive for the virus, and whose blood, if it is transfused without being tested, then the people who receive the blood will develop jaundice. So that was the study we did, and then it became a law by the government of Tamil Nadu that all the blood banks in the state, then naturally it has become a national law also that hepatitis B screening must be done. So these are some satisfaction that you get when your small research is going to make a policy decision for the system and values. So that is how my research interest has grown. And this was at that point of time, we wanted to do some herbal remedy for the hepatitis B virus, because there was no drug as such in the modern medicine system to treat hepatitis B, which is the more serious type of jaundice, which only results in liver cancer and so on. So when I was doing that research, we did some common herb which is normally used in our country, especially in Tamil Nadu, for treatment of jaundice. It is called as Kiranelli in Tamil and Phyllanthus amarus in botanical terms. This particular plant, we did an experiment in an innovative manner to prove whether it has got an antiviral property or not, by showing that this virus is inactivated by adding the plant extract with the blood sample which is positive for the virus. And then that we published in the Indian Journal of Medical Research. This was noticed by a Nobel laureate from US who actually got the Nobel Prize for having discovered the hepatitis B virus. He immediately sent a letter. In those days the emails were not that common. So letter saying that he would like to collaborate with us. You can imagine a young researcher who has not seen the different parts of the country, at least at that point of time, getting a letter from a Nobel laureate expressing his desire to collaborate was the pinnacle of glory for me at that time. That is how I have become a full-fledged researcher. My life has completely changed from then on.
I understand. One small thing can change your whole life. So, you studied a long time ago, obviously. and now you're a professor teaching. So what do you think has changed in the education system from then and now?
See, I'm sure it is understandable that there is so much of competition that has come in now. Competition between the students, competition between institutions who want to project their capabilities and so on, and also the ambition to quickly achieve your recognitions. You want to reach the highest level of your profession as early as possible. This kind of things have happened. They did not have, today's generation don't have the patience that is required, even though they may put in hard work. But they don't have patience, they don't have their intention to plan their program in a way, and also the knowledge thirst is not there to that extent which was there at that point of time. This is more a materialistic kind of upgradation of your standard of living today through education, instead of contribution to the science, contribution to the country, and contribution to the problem that you are taking up in your research area becomes more important in those days. But today it is more materialism. That is a difference I am able to see. The students today don't have patience. They want quick progress. They want to do, but they are much more intelligent. There is absolutely acceptable factor that they are highly intelligent. What the earlier year students like me and all would have done it in 10 days time, they will do it in 1 day. That's the kind of the capacity they have. But proper channelization is not there. That is the problem.
So it's just to get it done quickly.
Yes.
So you did your MD in Copenhagen. So what was your experience going abroad and studying?
Yeah. Before going to Copenhagen, I had some more earlier opportunities also because of my hepatitis B work. I had visited UK for more than about 15 times because the British Council and British Overseas Development Authority has sponsored a very major program. The Copenhagen visit was part of my UK collaboration. There is one state serum institute in Copenhagen which is purely working on immunology and lot of reagent preparations and all that. So when I was in UK, I had an opportunity to go to that institute, spend a year there. During that time, there was a 1-year MD program that was available in that institution, which I was facilitated to register for, and then I was able to successfully get the degree also, which helped me to get another collaboration with State Serum Institute, Copenhagen. That is one of the achievements in my international career. In fact, in continuation of that, I was with the Nobel Laureate Laboratory in Fox Chase Cancer Center, Philadelphia, in USA. We did continuous studies on the plant-based drug preparation, and then there were some models, animal models were there in their laboratory that we were able to use, and because of which about 28 different publications we were able to get out, and that was also the big background on which the drug ViroHep was invented.
So when you went to Copenhagen, did someone accompany you? Did you go with your parents?
No.
You went alone?
No. As I told you, my parents were not literate enough, but fortunately, as I told you earlier, whenever such opportunity comes, my grandmother used to be the first person to support. Even my father used to say, why to go abroad, let them settle down in our village and do the work and all that, the usual trend.
Yeah.
But my grandmother supported me, whatever he wants to do, let him do. So that's how I was able to get My teachers were of great help. As I told you, in Madras Medical College, we had a head of the department by name Professor Subramaniam. He was again instrumental for taking me over to the Madras University, and subsequently, after his retirement, I became the head of the department. So it has been mutually supported by the teachers only all the time.
Okay. So moving on from education to parenting, what was your personal experience like when your children were growing up?
Actually, this has been a very pleasant thing. I must tell you, my wife, I have been gifted with a very nice wife in the sense, her way of behavior will make the children so attracted to her, and all of them will be more fond of her even more than me, and more because of the way that she is.
So, what was the best part and the most challenging part of your job and parenting?
See, for example, you can't expect that the professional life will be very smooth all through. You have to face the worldly situation always. Again, the factor of competition, the colleagues who are working with you, and so on. And the success rate in your profession is directly proportional to the teamwork that you are able to get with the fellow colleagues and all that. So during my career, fortunately, I was able to gain to the level of the Vice Chancellorship of the University of Madras. And that was the time the university was about to celebrate the 150th year, having been established in 1856. At that point of time, we wanted to make it into a very major kind of a program, bringing the first three established universities in the country together, the Madras University, the Mumbai University, and the Calcutta University. And fortunately, all the three vice chancellors have been in line with me. They were able to join together, and we were able to meet the President of India at that time, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and many people helped us in this manner, like the Dr. Thyagarajan, who was a former governor here and economic advisor to the government. They all took up the case, and the Prime Minister of India was able to make a special fund, Dr. Manmohan Singh, of about 100 crores for each of the universities. That was the good side of it. But when you come to the university side, if you want to make it really happen, we made major 12 different programs as to mark the 150th year. One of the thing is Senate House renovation. Senate House is the oldest building of the University of Madras, and that was not in good shape. So we want to renovate it. The British government was wanting to help us also, and it required some money. We thought let us not go to the government because it may take a lot of time, and also you are not certain about the grants from the government sources. So I just floated it to the open world. All the alumni of Madras University may come forward to help, and that has clicked. And in fact, about 7.5 crores we were able to mobilize, and with all that we were able to complete the job also. But at that point of time, a question of non-cooperation from the non-teaching staff and the teaching staff came in that university, which was very challenging situation, because we have fixed all the programs, and we wanted to have the president coming here, and all the state and central ministers and so on. The people went on strike. So how to manage the situation? That was the time when the affiliated colleges of Madras University came forward to help. All the colleges were with me, and they came, and we were able to complete the kind of the event in a very glamorous manner. The message that I would like to tell is, for a successful administrator, it's also required that how well he can be a team builder also. You have to build up a team. You can't take it for granted that things will happen all through your life the way that you want to. But many times uncomfortable situations can come. We have to take it into account various aspects of it and manage the situation. But at the same time, you cannot compromise your value systems. If you compromise your value system, the kind of image that you have built in during your career as an institution builder will get completely diluted out. That was the experience.
So moving on from this to grandparenting. I know you're a grandparent. So could you just, as a brief, tell us about your grandchildren, how old they are, what they're doing?
See, I have two daughters and one son. Each of them are having one child. This is again another problem in these days. They don't want to have more children. So my eldest daughter is now an ophthalmologist. She has a son and he has finished his MBBS, and then presently he is doing his post-graduation in general medicine. His name is Shakti, and he is really very insightful, intelligent, at the same time very dedicated person. He really wants to contribute in the area of medicine. My second daughter, she is a general surgeon. She is working in Ramchandra Medical College in Chennai, and she has got a son who is doing his 5th standard now, and he is completely software savvy, computer savvy, and he will always criticize me if I do not know something handling the computer and even mobile for that matter. You don't know this, Tata, he will say. So like that, these children today, they are able to learn a lot in a fraction of a second, which grandparents take time. But then it is an enjoyable time. My son is an engineer. He is working here in VIT Vellore. His name is Jaya Vignesh. He has a daughter, a small daughter, 2-year-old, and her name is Malarovia. And she is keeping us all really in a very happy environment all the time.
That would be so fun, even if you take it as you, your wife, your children, your grandchildren living together in a house. Would have been so fun with so many of you all around. Because for me, I have a very nuclear family. It's just me, my dad, my grandmom, and my mom. That's all. So most of the time, both my mom and my dad work. My grandmom as well. So it's just me at home, and most of the time I'm really bored. I have no one to play with.
Yeah.
So having a joint family is like so.
Yes, joint family is a virtue. If you can have a joint family system, nothing like that. First of all, the children will learn adjustability. That is one thing. Otherwise, they will they will demand something. The parents also will say, okay, go ahead. They don't want to have any arguments, so they will say, go ahead and all that. The adjustability has to come out of experience. So if you have a joint family system, that kind of an adjustability will come. That is one important thing. The second thing is the kind of learning by doing is another very important thing that will happen in a joint family system. Because there will be 2-3 children together, they will be able to play around, and the grandparents will be able to help them because they have got a lot of time. Parents don't have time. For whatever reason it may be, because of their job or whatever, they don't have time. But the grandparents will have enough time to spend with them, go in their own way of thinking, and then try to guide them. So by that way, instead of saying don't do that, we should try to make them understand that better not to do in the way that they wanted to do. So that kind of a thing will be long lasting. So grandparents have got a very pleasant way of inculcating values and good habits in you, which will be lingering there for a very long time. So in fact, one small example I can tell you is, I'm putting this vibhuti now, 79 years now. This habit was created in me by my grandfather. And at the age of about 2 years, he taught me, because he used to do every day. He said, I used to ask him, why should you do that? What is the necessity and all that. Then he used to slowly explain. First of all, one is the spiritual, it is for prayer for the God and all that. The second thing is, when you are putting this vibhuti in you, all the unnecessary kind of secretions and all that will be absorbed, and you will not get headache. That is what he used to tell those days. But afterwards, science has proved it, in fact. So then that has become a habit for me, even my student days, and then later on when I became a teacher, and so on and so forth. So grandparents inculcate values much more efficiently and effectively than the parents. That is one undoubtful, unchallengeable point that I can say.
See, even I'd rather listen to my grandparents than my parents.
Okay.
If they say something, I'd rather listen to my grandmom. So, is there any tradition that you do with your family that you like doing?
See, the traditions in the family is, you may remember that we always try to thank our own grandparents in whatever way that is possible. If they are alive, we always be with them at that time. But in this age, I don't have my grandparents, so we do the annual rituals without any kind of missing those days. Wherever I am, I will not miss that date. I will be at home to do the usual rituals that needs to be done for them. That can be one way of recollecting the sacrifices they have done for us and the good things they have done for us, and that has to be reciprocally given, at least by showing our indebtedness to them by doing the appropriate prayers and the ritualistic duties and all that, which every year I do that.
So, is there any lessons that you hope to pass on to your children?
I would rather tell them the lessons kind of a thing is, the children should be patient enough today instead of all the time with a tensed behavior. By being tense, you are losing your balance and your power of thinking will be lost, and you must be under pressure for finishing time, some kind of a value for time and all that will be very difficult. So if you can have a peace of mind, then you can position your timing appropriately and do the work in the proper manner, and that will come out extremely well. In whatever part of studies you want, you have to do it patiently and quietly. Otherwise, see, some children, what they do is, if they do homework also, they just sit and do it in 15 minutes time, and they have to go and play some computer games the rest of the time. So if you ask them why you are doing it, no, I have finished all the homework in 15 minutes. My grandson will say that, my second grandson. So then why do you bother me? Why do you bug me like this and all that? So, but then the depth of understanding that they will do by properly timing your work, whether it is homework or preparation for the next day's lessons and all that, will not be there if you are just like that doing it mechanically in 15-20 minutes and go off. So I would like to expect my grandchildren or any grandchildren for that matter to have peace of mind, some quieter ambience for them to sit and study. The parents have to create that kind of an ambience for them. And it is another very important thing is if they get some doubt, they must be prepared to spend time with them. Because now and then they may be studying something, suddenly they may get some doubt, so they will rush up to the parents for possibility of an answer. The parents may be busy, but then at the same time they must try to set up some time, try to come to their level of thinking, then explain to them. Sometimes at that time the grandparents, if they are capable of, they will be able to help it out. So patience, good environment in the house, and answerable parents are the three important things that are necessary in shaping of the children.
So on that note, what are the ways that your grandchildren have inspired you or surprised you in any way?
See, sometimes if you take my eldest grandson, he will from the way that he has evolved, I could see that there is a clear change of his attitude to analyze. See, analyzing things itself is a major kind of a capacity. So as a medical student, I have seen lots of medical students studying. Their intention will be just to pass through the examination. Whereas this boy, he used to understand everything. He will try to explain to us also. Even now, when he comes and sees that I am trying to have this breathlessness and other kind of things, he will sit down with me, try to explain why this is happening, what is exercise-induced asthma, or what kind of background physiological functions damages, all that he used to explain. So the analytical way the grandchildren do is one of the present day children's attributes. Not many children used to do. Earlier on, they used to take as they study in the book, but today they try to understand, they want to learn everything, question and get the appropriate answer, and only then they will be satisfied.
I think analyzing things while you're studying is really important. I do it too. If I don't understand something, I go to Google and I find out what the answer would be.
That's right.
So, what advice would you give to other grandparents on how to build a good relationship with your grandchild? Or the other way around?
My request for all the grandparents is, let them give some quality time to the grandchildren. They must give quality time, especially in the evenings when the children come from the school. Make them comfortable. Even the parents have not yet returned home. Have them a proper, freshening up and so on. And then if they have the habit of praying in the puja room, make them do some small puja. So this quietens their mind. And then they come to the mood of doing the next phase of activity. Instead of asking them all the time study, you must apportion the timings in such a way that they are able to have some fresh reading for some time, or whatever habits that they have, let them do it for some time, and then allot some time exclusively for preparation for the next day teaching hours. So this is how the grandparents have to facilitate, take away the tension from the parents, and the grandparents, if they can offload that, the homely atmosphere will be much more pleasant. The enjoyable nature of the house will be very good. Then most importantly, take food with them. That is another thing. Instead of just the usual trend today is that whether it is dinner or whatever, somebody goes and picks up something and then finish off your dinner, you go to your room. That kind of a culture does not bring in bondage. So you must have a dinner time. let everybody sit together, parents, grandparents, grandchildren, if they are at home, then let them have a chit chat and then try to, anecdotally share some experiences. It may be the school experience from the grandchildren or the office experience from the parents, and the grandparents themselves can share some visitors who have come to the house and so on. Now, why I am saying is, the children will understand there is so much things happening around, so they must be conscious of the societal concern that one has to understand. So societal concern is also another very good thing that children must learn. We must be responsible citizens of the society also. So this habit, if it happens, you will see a difference in the house itself. The way when you enter into a house, you can see the house to perceive how calm and quiet the house is, how happily the people are living here. That will be represented by that.
So you're saying they should prepare for the next day, if they can like eat together, read stories together, basically spend more time together, then it works.
Exactly.
Okay. So do you have any regrets in life?
Regrets. I should say that God has been very kind to me all through my life. I don't have any regrets at all. If at all I should record this, I must thank my grandparents, especially my grandmother, and then my wife, all the other, my children and my grandchildren, everybody. They have made my life a full life, in both academically as well as professionally and personally. I don't have any regrets at all.
Okay, so then do you have like a quote, your favorite quote you would like to share, or something?
This is out of my own experience. I would like to tell you, lifelong humility and value systems are the priceless blessings of the Almighty. That's what I would like to say.
So that's the
Do you
secret
understand
to
what
your
I am
success.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last but not the least, what's one thing you would like people to remember about you?
That's a good question. I'll appreciate you if you really got impressed with my meeting with you today, that a person in India who has come up from the rural situation is able to come up to a reasonably highest academic position. That means India is really having such a rich freedom to even make the lowest of the lowest group of people to come up in life. So everybody can come up in life. What is important is your devotion, your passion, and your hard work. These are the three pillars of successful life. If that can happen, any child can come up. They should not have any feeling that they want support systems. You must know somebody here, or you must get recommendation from somebody there. It's all not at all necessary. But it has to be a persistent effort.
So you're trying to say anyone from any background, if they put their mind, their hard work to it,
Yes,
then they can get where they want.
they can come up, definitely. But situation is, you should be patient enough to sit through the whole process. It's not that I have done so much of work, I must get a professorship in about 3 years, 4 years, or I must get a vice chancellorship. All that will come. Let us not put the target before your work. Your work should go to the target, rather than target should come before even becoming worthy of the same.
So you don't plan it, when things come, they happen.
Exactly.
That's all I have for you, sir, today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you wanted whatever type of questions that are to be answered.